I'm Jaime Smith. I'm the founder of Online G3 and one of the primary instructors there. Online G3 offers online classes to gifted and talented students nationwide and around the world now. And I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I am a product of the California Public Schools. I went to public schools from kindergarten through high school. I went and got my bachelor's degree at UC Berkeley, got my first master's at San Jose State University, and then just for good measure, I went ahead and got one more at Cal State East Bay, and that's actually in online teaching and learning, which is my area of passion. So how does a good public school girl like me end up in alternative education? Well, let me tell you a little bit about my inspiration. That's Caitlin, that's my daughter. This picture is about 10 years old. This was when we started our alternative homeschooling journey. This was her first day of homeschool kindergarten. So, why did we reject the public schools? I called the public kindergarten when she was about to enter kindergarten, and I said, what are you going to do for my child? She can already read. She's reading chapter books. What are you going to do with her from 8 to 3 every day? It was a full day kindergarten, Monday through Friday. I said, what's that going to look like for her? They said, don't worry. We have so many things to teach her, like scissor skills. And I said, no, that's just not good enough. Why is it that I can go to the coffee shop and I can customize my coffee in like a million different ways every morning to get exactly what I want to the nth degree? But when I show up with my precious baby to put her in school for the next 13 years, they say, what's her birthday? That was the most important factor about her. And I said, this isn't right. We need more than that. Every child deserves the chance to learn something new every day. So we started homeschooling. Or as one parent in one of our homeschool groups called it, choice schooling, because we're really not home that much. We're out and about. We're doing field trips. We're doing co-ops. We're doing classes. And of course, one option, because I was big in online learning, and that was one of my master's degree, we went looking for online classes. And I found that the options out there were a little bit disappointing. A lot of online classes out there were basically textbooks turned into ebooks, traditional learning put into a web environment with no real innovation or interesting use of the technology. Nobody was really harnessing the power of technology to do something new and different. So, as they say, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. So I decided to start my own online program. At the time, I was also reading this great book called Disrupting Class by Clayton Christensen, which I highly recommend if anybody is interested in innovation out there. He applies an economic model of disruptive innovation to education that I found really inspirational. And also gives you this great quote about letting every student realize their full potential. So it's a really great book that I highly recommend, and it gave me the inspiration that maybe I could create something that's not just going to solve a problem for my child and maybe her little cohort of friends. Maybe I can build something that would actually solve a problem for hundreds or thousands of students out there. And indeed, we started with this one little group of about 7 students in one class back in 2009. And now we have almost 400 students per semester. So clearly there's a need out there, and I'm excited that I can fill it and maybe help revolutionize education in some way along the path. So what do I love about online learning? I'm really passionate about online learning. Why online? Why is that so special? The big thing about online learning is that, geographic boundaries can disappear. So, in a local school, you might not have the critical mass of students needed to offer some specialized subject or an unusual foreign language. In our case, we really focus on the gifted and talented students, so we can offer accelerated classes that might not be available in a different environment. We can bring together students from a wider range of communities to offer these specialized options. Community of peers is also really important to me. I think that students learn better when they are together, when they're being social with their friends, when they're finding other people who share their interests. And again, the online environment breaks down those geographic boundaries and allows these students to find each other across the miles. It can also offer a flexible schedule. We have a lot of students who maybe like to travel with their families, or maybe they play seasonal sports, or they're part of a performing arts troupe, and they end up really sleep deprived because they're trying to do all of these things on top of regular 8 to 3 or 8 to 4 or goodness, whatever time it is now, school schedules. And online learning allows them to customize a schedule that fits their needs and allows them to accomplish everything that they want to accomplish in a 24-hour day. Possibly my favorite thing about online learning is that it does level the playing field. Studies show that gender differences and cultural differences actually start to melt away in the online environment. We find that girls and boys participate more equally in the online environment. Learning styles, asynchronicities, student quirks. They don't matter when students are online. We have students who might be bouncing on a ball while taking their class, and that's totally fine because they're not disrupting anyone else. So they can learn in the way that makes the best sense for them without worrying about the rest of the environment. It also, I'm sorry it fell off a little bit here down at the bottom, but personalized paths through education are really important as well. We can have students who might spend hours poring over one particular resource, but they might simply glance at another resource because it's not as important to them. So they're empowered when they're online to create their own path through the educational material. And I also like to think of technology as a tool. You know, content is not king in this generation. We all have computers in our pockets. We can pull them out at any time to Google any fact or figure we might want. Memorization is a tool of the past. It's not what our students need today. What they need today are critical thinking skills, creative thinking skills, communication skills, and real-world tech skills. That's what their employers are going to ask of them in the future. That's what they'll need to be entrepreneurs and creators and makers. So why are we working within this old system that doesn't allow them to gain those skills? So what's next? The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. I think we have to break out of that 100-year-old model of factory education that we've all been following for so long and accepting unquestionably. It's time for us to rise up and require something different and offer something different to our students. And I know that that is scary. I'm a parent too, and I know that it's really hard to break out of the traditional system that we all went through and do something totally different. But I think it's necessary. The tools are there, the time is ripe. We need to make these changes. One thing that we are doing that has been a big challenge for us, but we're trying to make our classes a little bit more palatable to the wider community. So we've been doing things like we just got some of our classes A to G approved by the University of California, which hopefully will make our classes acceptable not just in the homeschool community, but also for schools out there who are looking to add something different. They can add our classes to their course list and offer their gifted and talented students another option. So we're trying to take steps in that direction. So I say the future's online, we're online. Are your students online? Maybe it's time for them to be. So I hope that you'll join us in this online education revolution. Thank you.